So it's time for another gardening week video, and this week it started on Sunday, and I was always really focused on the potatoes. In previous years I've done a lot of potatoes, I've scattered them all the way around the garden, they've looked really nice, but this year I've decided to focus primarily on creating a green corridor down the drive of trees and potatoes. I think it's going to look really lush and vibrant down there. Especially, and it's a lot easier for me to water because I've got a dip tank on the drive, and that's fed from the roof, from the gutters on the roof. So hopefully there'll be a lot of rainwater available to me, and as I say, I'll make watering really easy. I tend to just do now 2 tubers per container and just vary the size of the container. So for my second earlies I'm doing 2 in a 30-litre pot. For my early main crops I'm doing 2 in a 35-litre pot, and for my main crops I'm doing 2 in a 50-litre pot. And I find that works fine. I've done a lot of comparisons over the years between the yields that I get with just 2 tubers and the yields that other people get with 3 tubers or 4 tubers, and they seem to be pretty much the same. And since I'm buying my tubers, I may as well use a smaller number. So yeah, that's the way that I've chosen to do it this year. I know that I'm compromising yield a little bit because the drive is not as sunny as the back garden, but you know, we just get so many potatoes that we're always giving them away. So we decided to focus on the aesthetics and the ease of it this year rather than just trying to maximise the yield. It's really nice to see the drive all tidied up, and just can't wait to see it all greened up as well. So Monday I was down the allotment, got a lot of stuff done actually. So finished preparing the winter carrot bed, removed the covers, the polythene covers off the early kale bed, and put a mesh cover over those. I'm really pleased with the progress of the early kales. They are ready for harvest now, and so I can start taking the late kales out of the back garden and getting those beds replanted, mainly with onions and parsnips, but I've got a few other bits and pieces to go in. So I also planted my early courgettes into containers in the polytunnel. They're growing on quite nicely now. Did a lot of watering, lots of interplanting of radish and things like that, and pretty much finished planting now on the allotment for a few weeks. Really waiting now for the time when I can start planting out the peppers and the tomatoes, and a few weeks away from that at the moment. So yeah, it's a bit of a lull on the allotment, and I've used that lull to get in lots of walking and cycling and just chilling out and recouping my energy levels and working on the back garden. And so, as I said, I've been clearing some of the brassica beds and getting those replanted, but actually one of the big focuses this week has been to take all the covers off the lettuces, and they're growing on really nicely. I'm very happy with the lettuce beds, and so I interplanted all of those with salad onions. Now normally I would put the salad onions in at the same time as the lettuce seedlings, but this year the salad onions were just running a little bit behind, so it's been a few weeks. They left them in the modules before they're ready to transplant out. But now all the lettuce beds are all fully interplanted, so I've got thousands of salad onions in the back garden, as well as loads obviously on the allotment that we've been harvesting since October or something. So it's Friday today, and I've just come back to the allotment and I've just taken the nets off the summer carrot bed, and I was really pleased to see that all of those have germinated. The ones sown with pelleted seed don't need anything in at all. They're pretty much perfect germination there, and the ones sown from seed touchon that wasn't pelleted, I can't tell yet whether I'll have to do anything in, but hopefully I won't. So I always find it quite nerve-wracking, carrots, because they're one of my absolute top crops that has to succeed, and you know, you have to wait 2 weeks from sowing to know whether you've actually succeeded or not, and that 2 weeks I find really nerve-wracking. I don't know about anybody else, and it's kind of, well, it's daft, isn't it, really? But anyway, it's just the way it is. And I also planted out another onion bed and interplanted that with parsnips, and now I've got 2 parsnip beds germinated, one waiting to germinate and 1 yet to be sown. So I think I'll end up with 4, maybe 5 parsnip beds in total. And we only did 3 last year, so we're increasing the number of parsnips this year as part of our kind of strategy to grow more staples and less high value crops. Now, you might think, does that make any sense? Why not just grow high volume crops? And we're at the point now where we grow so many high value crops, we just don't have enough local people to feed with those crops, and so we're reducing the amount of space we've got for high value crops. And because I get better and better at gardening each year, I'm still growing as many high value crops, even though I'm reducing the amount of space for them, and I'm just using the space that I'm freeing up to grow more low value ones. And low value ones are easier to look after, so that's kind of consistent with my long-term strategy of doing less work and growing as much food. Not any more food now, but as much food, less work. So I think it's time for the harvest, and looking forward to this one, doing it all myself because Debbie's away on holiday for a few days. And yeah, so let's get on. So here's a quick look at mostly the cooked veg table. It's all getting a bit crazy at this time of year. Certainly no hungry gap here. So we've got just a few of the cabbages that are in the way, basically. Not quite hearted up, but they're starting to heart, so they'll be lovely. And then we've got loads of spring onions, so we call these green onions. So basically they're just like, green garlic, so they're immature onions to be used green. Looking nice. Then we've got some garlic there, green garlic, again just immature garlic. You use the whole thing, stem and bulb. Salad onion tops, somewhere on here there's the salad onions. Oh yeah, there's the salad onions. And basically they're the same as those green onions, they're just smaller because they're planted more densely. And then we've got the penultimate harvest of the old new potatoes, if you know what I mean. So these are the ones planted last year in July that we're harvesting now, kind of new potato kind of quality. Obviously we've got loads of new potatoes in the ground from our February sowing and March sowings, plantings. Penultimate harvest of the stored carrots. So we've been eating fresh carrots. So these have been harvested from compost, where they've been buried in the compost. We've got one more harvest of those, and then we're onto the new carrots. Celery, radishes, massive pile of chard. Second harvest this year of the asparagus, starting to come on quite nicely now. First harvest of the broad beans, particularly pleased about that. It's a tiny harvest obviously, but still really nice to have. A few red onions. I think we've got 2 weeks more of red onions now, and then we'll be on to all green onions. Kale, probably the penultimate harvest of last year's kale, but we've got new kale ready now, so I don't mind taking that out. Parsley, and then mixed brassica boxes, loads of those all kind of underneath there. I think there's about 7 of those. Purple sprouting broccoli, definitely the penultimate harvest of that, if not the last harvest of that. Need to get those beds cleared anyway, because I need to get them replanted. Field bean tops, lots and lots of field bean tops at this time of year. You really have to keep on top of the harvest of these, otherwise they just grow too big and reduces the quality of them. You really only want just this little growing tip here. I think this is the last harvest of the overwintered spinach, so pleased to get that out of the ground and out of the way. There's another box of that there. And then this is the new season spinach, and I actually think I'll only have 2 more harvests of this, so we've got quite a bit of this underneath here. and then these on top. But we have a new bed of that coming on stream next week because I want to get the carrots planted, the autumn carrots. And I've started taking out these pak choi now. Actually, I think these are soy or taisei. It's hard to know the difference between them, but they're looking quite nice. I've got loads of these, and again, these all need to be out before the peppers and the tomatoes. So I normally just take individual leaves, but now I'm starting to harvest hearts, and I'm doing the same with the lettuces as well. So I think if I've got everything, that's everything from the week's harvest. We've still got some main crop potatoes in store. We've still got beetroot in store. But we don't have enough of those to give away to the kids. So I have not put those on the table because they're just in the fridge and they're staying in the fridge for us. And here's today's salad boxes. And for those of you who are interested in the number of different varieties, we try for 30 different varieties of fruit and veg a week, and we're easily getting 30 different varieties off the allotment, and we buy some fruits and things as well, so we're well above 40 different varieties at the moment. So they're looking quite nice. Salad carrots now a bit old. They're not too bad, but I'm really looking forward to the new season ones, which I'll start harvesting maybe next week for salad carrots, and then the week after for cooking carrots. So yeah, pretty good. Just got to add the sprinkles on top. So hope you like this quick harvest video. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and if you want any more details about the way that I harvest, take a look down below in the description, and there's a link to the chapter of my ebook that covers harvesting, all the details and all the questions you're likely to ask. See you soon.